Hi folks, this is Karim Rao from IT Visualizer channel. We will continue our lab, the Matrix lab. This is the video number 7. We have been discussing in the previous video the following. We have been working on how we can download the different group policy templates for different applications so we can control the user environment on the different workstations in our domain. So we have seen that we can download different group policy templates to control, for example, the Adobe Acrobat. We can download group policy templates to control the VLC media player. We can download group policy templates to control the Office package or the Office programs. Okay, we can download different group policy templates to control different applications, in addition to the default group policy templates, which is shipped with the Windows server. We can control the Windows environment. So we can control the applications and the Windows operating system in general. We have seen how we can download the different group policy templates from a couple of sites, and then we have created 6 group policies which are famous in any multinational organization. We will discuss today these different group policy templates, what they do, and why they are so important. So let me show you all first a graph, a small graph. Here we will see we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, about 7 group policies. They are very, very important. You will find at least one of them in any multinational organization. For example, we have the default domain policy. This is a generic group policy that will be applied to all users or computers or organizational units. So it applies to all of the Active Directory objects. It will be applied to all. It is something like the constitution for any country. It is something generic that will apply to all the domain. Okay, what are the generic or what does this group policy contain? It basically can contain, for example, the password policy. The password policy will be applied to all users in the domain, IT users or normal users. It will be applied to all computers or whatsoever. So this is a generic policy. Okay, the password policy is one of the content of this group policy. For example, the welcome message. For example, if you need to display a certain message when the user logs in to the domain, then you can do this from the default domain policy. If you need, for example, to change the local administrator username on all of the PCs in the domain, this also can be done using the default domain policy. So basically, if you need to apply a generic setting to all of the domain, then the default domain policy is what you seek. Again, the default domain policy, it is created by default when you install Active Directory domain services and then promote the server to be a domain controller. You will find 2 default group policies, or they are created by default. The first one is default domain policy, and the second is default domain controllers group policy. The default domain policy is applied to the domain in general, and the default domain controllers group policy is applied to specifically the domain controllers. Okay, so this is one of the group policies. We will discuss it in details, but this is a brief description about it. By the way, all of these group policies, I have been applying it to all of my labs. This is not new. I have already discussed these group policies in different scenarios, okay, and in different playlists. Anyway, we will go to the second one, which is mapping group policy. Mapping group policy, it is simply we will have uh, files, we have folders that will be shared on our file server, and these shared folders will be assigned to different departments so they can put their data on it. So we will, for example, give the HR a folder on our file server. We will give the IT a folder on our file server. These are like storage places that these departments can put their data on. To put all of the departments data in one central location would make it easy to back up this data, and we can secure it more easily. Okay, so this is the mapping policy. We need any user in any department, when he logs into his machine, he can see the folder that is assigned to his departments. Okay, so this will be done using the mapping policy. We will do this very, very simply. When the user opens his machine, he will find the folder assigned to his department will appear as a partition, okay, which to be like a local partition. It seems to be like a logic partition, okay, not a shortcut, for example, for the folder. So this is the mapping policy. We will see that when we create our file server. As for the WSOS policy, the next one, this the policy will define how the workstations and servers will deal with the WSOS server. We all know that the WSOS server, it is a server responsible for uh, receiving or grabbing Microsoft updates for different products of Microsoft and push it to all of the workstations and servers. So WSOS can get updates for Windows 10, for Windows 11, for Office, for any Microsoft product and push it to all of the clients in the domain. So this group policy, we will have two, one assigned for the servers and one assigned for the workstations. As for the servers, this group policy will tell the servers to get the updates from the WSOS server, download them, and wait for the administrator to install it, because servers should be always available 24/7. You should not restart the server unless it is necessary and it is a planned restart, because some users will be working on the server. So you need to make sure that all of the users has finished their work on the server and then restart the server safely. So this group policy will tell the servers to download the updates and wait for the administrator to install it. This is for the servers. As for the workstations, a different group policy will be applied. We will tell the workstations to download updates from the WSOS and install it automatically and notify the user for a restart if the update needs a restart. And after 15 minutes, if the user does not comply, it will restart automatically. So we have two different WSOS policies. Anyway, we will discuss them also when we create the WSOS server, okay? Then these two, classic shell policy admin and classic shell policy limited, it is related to the classic shell, which is now named as open shell. This is a program that will change the start menu of Windows 10 or 11 from this default start menu style to something like Windows 7 style, Windows 7 start menu style. So these two, one of them or the first one will display certain icons, okay, or will allow all of the icons related to this program to be displayed for the admins. Okay, this is the first group policy. The second one, it is a limited one. It will hide some icons from the limited users or the normal users. For example, we need to hide the setting. We need to hide the network connection. We need to hide, for example, help and support. We need to hide the run. So these two programs will control how the users can see the different options for the classic shell, or what is now called open shell. Okay, so these are the two policies. We will go to the last two. One of them is advanced users group policy. It will control, or it will give users some, or it will let the users see the windows, or will see some Windows options available for them. So it will hide some options and it will appear, or it will let some Windows options to appear to the user. By the way, we have always in any domain or any environment, we can define the users in some categories, or we can define them in some categories. For example, the most or the highest users category that get most of the privileges are the IT or the admins. They get all of the privileges. They have all of the uh, options for Windows and programs available for them. Okay, so this is the IT. We have all of the rights. We can do anything. You can control the domain. You can control the operating system. You can control the Active Directory. All of this for the IT, the users. The second group of users are the advanced users. They have less privileges than the IT, but these privileges are more than the limited or normal users. For example, the department heads, your CEO or your general manager, you can give him some privileges that is normally not applied to limited or normal users. For example, you can open the USB and DVD for your general manager if he have a laptop and he's traveling a lot. Maybe he need his USB and DVD to be opened. Anyway, I don't recommend to open USB and DVD, but in some cases, it can be opened. So the advanced users group policy is a group of settings that will be applied to certain users. We call it advanced users that have some privileges, not as much as the IT and not as limited as the normal users. Okay, we can see, for example, we can allow USB and DVD. We can make the control panel, the setting in the control panel to appear, or all of the options to appear for these users. By the way, we can control what options to appear in the control panel. We will see the advanced users group policy and what it uh, do, what are the options that will be available for these users concerning the Windows setting. Okay, so let's continue and see the last one. The last one is the default users group policy, which are the rights, or are the third category of users, the normal users or the limited users. They don't have any uh, or don't have much rights. They only take the permissions or privileges to do the job. They don't have excessive rights like IT or advanced rights like the department heads. They only have the rights to do their job. So this is the default users group policy. For example, here we will disable USB and DVD for these users. We will control what they see in the control panel. So we will see the different setting relating to this group policy. So these are the group policies. How we can apply a group policy? First of all, we need to create the group policy. This is the first step we should do. And then we have two things to do. After the group policy is created, we need to define, or we need to link it to a certain organizational unit. So we need to know where this group policy will be applied. It will apply to a certain organizational unit. This is the first step. And the second step, what is the object that it will be applied to. So this organizational unit, okay, can contain users or groups or computers. This group policy will apply to which object? To the users or to the groups or to the computers. For example, we have here the domain, default to domain policy. It is applied in the top level of the domain, so it will be applied to all of the organizational units. We can see here this is default to domain policy. It will be inherited to all of the organizational units. Here we can see this is the default to domain policy. This is applied to all. Then I linked the mapping policy to this organizational unit, and I will link it the classic shell policy admin to this organizational unit. So this is correct, okay, or this is good. All of these will apply to who or to whom? What object it will be applied to? It will be applied to the authenticated users. Once you see authenticated users group, then all of these group policies will be applied to users. Okay, so this is basically very, very simple. We will see that most of the group policies are applied to users. It can be applied to computers. It can be applied to groups. Anyway, so this is basically, we need to have two conditions for a group policy to be applied. You need to link it to a certain OU and to define which object it will be applied to in the OU. Okay, so this is basically how we can create and apply a group policy. And most of the problems that arise from the group policy, mostly, not all of it, is related to these two conditions. Either you did not link the group policy to an OU, or you didn't define the object this group policy will be applied to. So we can see these are the group policies. Here I have a report, so I put in the Google Drive link. Okay, this is the LAF files we will see here, or let me show you all the different group policies. Here, this is the group policy reports. We can see these are all of the group policies. If you need to know the setting of each group policy that we have discussed in the screenshot, you can go to the Google Drive link and open the LAF files. You will see GPO reports. You can open any one of these. Okay, and what I will do now, I will ask the AI to analyze each group policy and give me a summary about the content of this group policy. If you need to get more details, you can open it and examine it by yourself. Okay, this is the group policy reports, and this is the group policies itself. We will import these group policies from this backup folder. Okay, so let's go and ask the AI to analyze these different group policy objects. But before that, this all of the group policies, most of them are applied within, or it will control the Windows environment except for these two group policies, will be applied to an application. So what if you need more group policies? If you need to have a documentation, for example, or a group policy to control the Adobe Reader, what are the recommended settings? Here, I will recommend some websites that will focus on giving you group policies to control or to secure your uh, applications. Maybe it's not related to the functionality or the recommended options to have more functionality of the application, but it is good. You will find some tips on how to, or on this group policy will give you tips on some operational or functional tips. So how I can get group policies from uh, 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 recommended or IT professionals, for example? Is there a website I can get professional IT group policies uh, to secure applications or secure Windows, or even to have operational tips concerning different applications and Windows? You can get this from this website. This is a website that focuses on security, but you will have also additional tips. This is the DoD, or this is the Department of Defense of the United States. It releases different recommendations or group policies that you can use to secure and configure your applications or control your applications. You can see this is one file. You can go there. This is one file that contains all of the group policies, or sorry, all of the recommendations related to different applications. So, for example, I will show you all. When we open this file, we will see recommendations related to Adobe Reader, for Windows Server, for Active Directory. So we will see a lot of recommendations, and they are very, very easy to implement. So how we can implement these recommendations from this website? Some of them are done manually. You need to go and change the setting if this recommendation said that, or you can apply it using group policies. So he will give you group policies you should apply to implement the recommendations. So here also he eases this thing for you. He will give you the group policies. They are ready, and just you only need to import them. So these are group policy objects. You can import them directly to apply certain recommendations, okay, for this Department of Defense. How I can see these recommendations? You can download this program, STIG Viewer 3. This also is downloaded from the same website. Then we will tell it to open this file, which is the file that contains all of the recommendations. You will see this is the file. We will tell the program to open it, so we will open that. Here we will go and tell him to open the file. Here you go. So we can see here we have 243 recommendations. We can choose any one of them and see what does it contain. So here we can see these are all recommendations for different applications. So for example, if you go there, we can see this is, for example, for the Active Directory domain. You can see the recommendations for the Active Directory domain. You can see, for example, recommendations for Windows. Let me show you all. If you can go to Microsoft, let me get the recommendations for Microsoft Windows 10, for example. Let's go further. Microsoft, Microsoft Publisher. Okay, we have Microsoft Windows Server. You can get that. You can have Microsoft. Where is Windows 10? Let me get it further. www. We can get it from here. No, there is no W. Okay, it will continue, I think, down. Okay, I think no, it's Microsoft. We can go further. Okay, we have Microsoft. Okay, we can see here, for example, these are recommendations for Microsoft Windows 10. We can open it, and then we can see we have 260 rules. Okay, you need to apply them one by one to secure your Windows 10 and to activate or deactivate some options. Okay, so we can see, for example, the first recommendation. These are the recommendations. If you open it, we will see that the first recommendation: domain joint systems must use Windows 10 Enterprise 64-bit version. Okay, And he tells you how you can know that this operating system is Windows 10 Enterprise. You can open the setting. This is very, very simple. You can open the setting, and then you can see, uh, see if you open the setting like that, and then open the system, you will see, sorry, not this one. Okay, he's telling you to open settings, select system, then about. So setting, then system, okay, and then you go to the about, okay. Then you can see this is Windows. Here you can see Windows 10 Enterprise. So you can see this is very, very simple, and it will give you different ways to apply uh, these recommendations. As we can see, this is the source where he got this recommendation. So this is very, very simple. You can get any recommendation, okay, for any application. Okay, these recommendations can be applied using group policy. So you can get a group policy for Adobe Reader, okay, from this website. So let me show you all where are the group policy. If you open this one and go to this one, you will get these group policy objects. I will show you all the group policy object. If we go to the downloads, let me show you all. If you go to downloads, okay, let me show you the group policies, because this is very, very important. If you go to my documents, then downloads, then this is the group policy package. Okay, if we go and let me show you all something here. Here is the package. We will see here very, very good thing. You will see the group policy templates. So the Department of Defense will download for you the latest group policy templates for the different applications. They provide security tips for it, secure it. So we can see this is the Adobe Reader latest group policy templates. This is for the Chrome. You can see that. You can see the Microsoft. This is for Labs, Microsoft Labs, Microsoft Edge, Microsoft Mozilla. Okay, these are the latest one. Office 2013. Okay, Office 2016 and up, and OneDrive. So you can get the latest group policy templates from the Department of Defense. And then we can see these are the group policies. For example, if you need to apply the recommendations related to the Department of Defense related to the application of Adobe Reader, you just go to the this folder, and this is the report of the group policy. You can read the setting, and this is the group policy itself. You can import it. So by importing it, you will apply the recommendations of the Department of Defense concerning securing the Adobe Reader. So you can see this is very, very simple. I urge you all to use these recommendations to secure your applications and see the latest group policies related to the different applications. So this is very, very good thing. You need to all to do it. Okay, you can use the application. And by the way, there is some applications also on this website that will check or will scan your different applications and see if these applications are secured or they are following the rules for the recommendations of the Department of Defense. So for example, I will install a program from this website. It will check my Adobe Reader setting to see if it is aligned with the recommendations of the Department of Defense to secure Adobe Reader. This is very, very important. You can do this regularly, maybe every quarter, year or something, to make sure your applications are secure. And by the way, as we said before, it is using group policy objects. So you can open and see the group policy. This is one source to get your group policies or a professional group policy that will follow the security standards, and also can get the group policy templates from this website. So now we need to go and focus on to discuss every one of these group policies. So the first group policy we need to talk about is the advanced users group policy. If we go there and ask Claude, which give me a very, very good explanation, what I have done, I have already opened the group policy, HTML file. I will open it and copy its content and paste it to the AI and tell him to analyze this GPO and give a professional summary. So let's see. Here I am using Microsoft Edge voice options to read the group policy so you can make it more easy for you to understand. So let's see what the Claude 3 said about this advanced users group policy. By the way, it is an old one. It was created in another lab. I was using a domain called patient0.internal, and it was linked to an OU called Neuralink, okay? And it was applied to a group called PT0 underscore neo advanced security group. So do not take or do not focus on the names, but see the content. Let's see what is the content of this group policy. Let's wait and see.
Based on the group policy object, GPO, details provided, here is a professional summary. The GPO, Advanced Users Group Policy, is linked to the organizational unit OU Neuralink within the patient0.internal domain. It is designed to apply specific settings and configurations to the patient0/PT0_NEU_advanced security group members. User configuration. Folder redirection. This policy redirects various user folders, documents, desktop, downloads, etc. to a central location, d:\my documents %username% on a file server. This helps in centralized data storage and backup. Control panel. It restricts access to most control panel applets, allowing only a few essential ones like display, date, time, and default programs. Desktop. It disables various desktop customization options, such as adding network locations, adjusting toolbars, and running the desktop cleanup wizard. Network connections. It prevents users from modifying or deleting network connections and remote access connections. Start menu and taskbar. It enforces a classic start menu layout, removes several start menu links, like Run, Documents, Pictures, etc., and prevents customization of the start screen and taskbar settings. System. It prevents access to the command prompt. Scripts. It enables running legacy logon scripts hidden and synchronously. Autoplay. It disables autoplay for all drives. File Explorer. It restricts access to various File Explorer features, such as folder options, network locations, drive access, CD burning, and the Security tab. It also minimizes the ribbon.
Sorry guys, let's continue.
Ribbon by default. Windows Installer. It prevents installations from removable media sources. Computer configuration. No settings are defined in the computer configuration section of this GPO. Preferences. Files. It copies an executable file, idlelogoff.exe, from a network share to the local system, c:/idlelogoff\idlelogoff.exe. Folders. It creates the c:/idlelogoff and d:/my white space documents folders on the local system. The GPO is configured to apply these settings to the patient0/PT0_NEU_advanced security group members, likely restricting their access and enforcing a standardized user environment within the Neuralink OU. Copy.
So we can see here that this is the advanced users group policy. It will control different Windows setting. For example, we have folder redirection. We will see, for example, it will redirect most of the users' default documents or default folders from the C to the D, my documents, which is a way that I do or I like to do on all of my workstations to secure these folders. If anything happened to the C partition, I can rest assured that all of the documents of the user are already redirected to another partition or another partition in the local hard disk. By the way, you can secure it more to have all of these documents on a file server if you are using roaming profiles. But anyway, I don't prefer roaming profiles. But I have this, or I use this method in my network. This is the first thing. As for the second control panel, you can see it will restrict access to the control panel. You will see only a couple of options here. If you open that, we will see that you will only see the date and time and display and the folder or File Explorer options. In these File Explorer options, you can control different things. You can see show hidden files and folders. You can hide extensions for known files. Okay, you will do a lot of things. So this is one thing you do not you want the user to play with it. As for the default programs, this is a way, or you are telling the Windows to use a certain program to open certain file extensions. You can give this to the user. So I am giving the user the option to change date and time, File Explorer options. It is hidden, or this will not appear for the user. The only one will appear is date and time, default programs, and display. As for File Explorer options, if we see that, it will be hidden. One of the options is to hide this completely. As for the desktop, we will prevent changing desktop, the icons of desktop, adjusting the toolbars. Some of the users can play with the taskbar to make it from the bottom to the left or to the right. This will be locked. You cannot change the toolbar. You cannot uh, add any icons on the desktop, for example, like network locations. You cannot add any icons to the desktop. You have a standardized desktop. You will not be able to change any icons. You will not delete any icon from desktop. Okay? Network connections, you will disable or will not let the user change any setting of the network. He cannot disable it, he cannot enable it, he cannot play with the TCP IP setting of the network. Okay, so this is one good thing. You should not let the user play with the setting of the network. Okay, other things, start menu and taskbar, the same. We will standardize the way that the start menu will appear for the user. For example, we don't need to have the run appearing for the users, for example. Documents and pictures, uh, I think this should appear for the user. Prevent customization of the start screen and taskbar setting, so we can control also the taskbar for the user. System, prevent access to command prompt. I don't need the user. The run will not appear for the user, and if he have the run, I don't let him access the command prompt. This is a very, very dangerous tool to play with the setting if the graphical interface is disabled. Okay, so we will disable accessing the command prompt. Scripts should be implemented hidden without the user noticing it. Autoplay, we should disable autoplay options for any media files. We should disable it. So if there is a DVD that contains autoplay, it will not work. any any removable media that contains autoplay should be removed, because this option can bring viruses and malware to your PC. File Explorer, we have seen that we can disable File Explorer features, folder options, network locations, okay, driver access, CD burning, security tab, okay. All of this uh, is related to the File Explorer options, okay. Windows Installer prevents installation from removable media. So if you have a DVD and the user need to install something from a removable media, USB or DVD, this will be disabled. So all of these are to control and secure the environment of the user. Let's go again. This is for this one section related, or the user configuration in the group policy object. Now we can go to the computer configuration. Here I have two things. I tell the group policy to create a couple of folders. One is my documents in the D partition, so I can redirect all of the folders like desktop and downloads to my documents folder. So this is very, very important. I need to create a folder and then redirect all of my user folders, these to my documents. You can use the group policy to create folders and to copy files as well. So the other thing here, I need to, on the servers, I need to copy a program called idle logoff. This program will log off the user if he is idle for 15 minutes or a couple of minutes I can define. This is for the workstations or the servers anyway. So this is a program. I need to copy it to the workstation, so the program can work, because after that I will use a script to run this program. So you can see here that we have a lot of useful configuration that we can use for our advanced users. By the way, this is for advanced users. We will see that I don't have any option to disable USB or DVD. This is the advanced users group policy. So the other thing that we will discuss, or the next group policy we will discuss, it is the classic shell policy admin. This is related to the program here. Let's see what this group policy says or contains and turn back. Again, this is in a different lab. This is domain is different, the OU is different, and it will be applied to authenticated users. Okay, so this normally will be applied, if you see it correct, it will be applied to the admins. Okay, this will be applied to the admins. Okay, this is very, very important for the IT admins, authenticated users. It means that any users in this OU, it will be a member of authenticated users. So let's see what this group policy have to say.
Based on the group policy object, GPO, details provided, here is a professional summary. The GPO Classic Shell Policy Admin is linked to multiple organizational units, OUs, within the patient zero internal domain, including vaccines under the city OU and Neuralink under the city OU. This GPO is designed to apply settings to all authenticated users, NT authority / authenticated users, within these OUs. User configuration. Classic Start Menu. This section configures various settings related to the Classic Shell Start Menu, which provides a classic Start Menu experience similar to Windows 7. The settings include enforcing a consistent column size in the Start menu, displaying the control panel as a link, disabling the exit and settings options, setting the Start menu style to Windows 7, hiding the network connections item, enabling the Windows context menu on right-click, disabling the Apps menu, Help and Support, Metro Apps, Search menu, and Start Screen shortcut. Configuring the search box to setting the Start menu style to Windows 7. Hiding the Network Connections item. Enabling the Windows context menu on right-click. No settings are defined in the computer. Enabling the Windows context menu on right-click. Disabling the Apps menu, Help and Support, Metro Apps, Search menu, and Start Screen shortcut. Configuring the search box to show no search box. Computer configuration. No settings are defined in the computer configuration section of this GPO. Preferences. Registry. This section modifies the menu item 7 registry value under HKEY current user /software /evosoft /classic start menu /settings. The value is set to a multi-string value that defines the items and their settings in the classic start menu. Various user folders, documents, pictures, music, videos, downloads are set to be displayed without expansion. The home group, games, favorites, network, and apps items are disabled. The recent documents, control panel, PC settings, admin, devices, and defaults items are set to track recent items. The computer, network connections, and help items are enabled. The run and Windows security items are also included. The GPO is designed to enforce a consistent and standardized classic start menu experience for all authenticated users within the specified OUs. It disables certain start menu items and configures the display settings of others, likely to align with organizational policies and preferences.
We can see this is very, very simple group policy. It will let me see certain icons within this program. Okay, this is for the IT. Okay, so they have everything appearing, okay, for them. Some options are disabled, okay, but we can see this controls the environment for this program. This is for the IT. Let's see the one for the normal users, or we will see this for the limited users. We can see this group also, which is called Classic Shell Limited. Let's see what's this Classic Shell Limited. This is the same policy or the same policy for the program, but for limited users. This one or the previous one for the IT, all of these options will be available in this program, but the other one is for the normal users. Some of them will be disabled for the users. So let's see what will be disabled.
Based on the group policy object, GPO, details provided, here is a professional summary. The GPO Classic Shell Policy Limited is linked to multiple organizational units, OUs, under the city OU in the patient internal domain, including body cells under brain, heart, kidney, liver, and lungs. This GPO is designed to apply settings to all authenticated users, NT authority / authenticated users, within these OUs. User configuration. Classic Start Menu. This section configures various settings related to the Classic Shell Start Menu, which provides a classic Start Menu experience similar to Windows 7. The settings include enforcing a consistent column size in the Start menu, displaying the control panel as a link, disabling the exit and settings options, setting the Start menu style to Windows 7, hiding the network connections item, disabling the Apps menu, Help and Support, Metro Apps, Run, Search menu, and Start Screen shortcut. Configuring the search box to show no search box. Computer configuration. No settings are defined in the computer configuration section of this GPO. Preferences. Registry. This section modifies the menu item 7 registry value under HKEY current user /software /evosoft /classic start menu /settings. The value is set to a multi-string value that defines the items and their settings in the classic start menu. Various user folders, documents, pictures, music, videos, downloads are set to be displayed without expansion. The user files, home group, favorites, network, network connections, control panel, PC settings, admin, defaults, and apps items are disabled. The games item is set to track recent items and disabled. The recent documents, computer, and devices items are enabled. The help and Windows security items are also included. The GPO is designed to enforce a restricted and limited classic start menu experience for all authenticated users within the specified OUs. It disables or hides numerous start menu items, likely to align with organizational policies and preferences for a more controlled user environment. Copy. Retry. Claude can make mistakes. Please.
So we can see here that there is a difference between this limited and admin. For example, here the run is included, but downside the run is not included. For example, we can see here that the network connections are enabled, but for the limited user it is disabled. We will see that control panel, PC setting, and admins are available for the admins, but they are disabled for the users. So this is very, very good way to control the start menu after changing it by this program. Okay, so these are very, very good group policies. You should find it in any multinational organization. So we have discussed the the classic shell admin, the classic shell policy, advanced users group policy. We have discussed the three. We need to discuss the default users group policy and the default domain policy. As for these two, we will discuss them when we create the file server and the source. So let's go and continue, or let me show you all the other group policies we need to discuss. For example, if you go to the default users group policy, here we can go and discuss the different, or so we have advanced users group policy. We have said that. Let's see the default or the limited users group policy. Let's try to read or do like that, or right click and tell him to read out loudly, and then let's begin. If we type,
Summary: the GPO named Default Users Group Policy is applied to the PT0_NEU_default group in the Neuralink Organizational Unit OU within the patient0.internal domain. This GPO is configured with various security and user experience settings tailored for the default users in the Neuralink environment. Key settings: user configuration, folder redirection, users' folders, desktop, documents, downloads, etc. are redirected to a central file server, d:/my documents %username%. Control panel. Only specific control panel items are allowed, e.g., date and time, display, default programs. Desktop and Start menu. Customizations are restricted, including disabling taskbar customization, preventing changes to Start menu settings, and locking the taskbar. Firefox and Chrome. Extensions and password manager features are disabled. Microsoft Office. Strict security settings are enforced, including disabling macros by default, disabling add-ins, enabling protected view, and disabling trusted locations. Network connections. Users are restricted from modifying network connection properties, enabling/disabling connections, and accessing advanced settings. Removable storage access. All access to removable storage devices, CD/DVDs, USB drives, etc., is denied. Scripts. Logon scripts are run synchronously and hidden. Windows components. Features like autoplay, desktop gadgets, and File Explorer customization are disabled or restricted. Computer configuration. Firefox. Offer to save logins and password manager features are disabled. Windows Connection Manager. Connection to non-domain networks is prohibited when connected to a domain-authenticated network. Additional settings. A logoff utility, idlelogoff.exe, is deployed to c:\idle logoff. The search box mode in the taskbar is set to disabled. Overall, this GPO implements a highly restrictive and secure environment for default users in the Neuralink OU. User customization options are limited, and access to removable storage, network connections, and potentially risky features, add-ins, macros, etc., is blocked. Folder redirection and centralized file storage are enabled for data management.
so we can see this is a very, very good group policy to control the users. We will see, for example, we have storage, removable storage access is disabled. We can see that saving passwords to browsers is disabled and prohibited because browsers can be hacked easily. Okay, saved logins password is not saved to the browser or even managed through the browser. Windows connection, here is one of the very good options you can apply to your network. If you have a laptop and there is Wi-Fi and local network, if the local network or the LAN network is connected to the domain, then the Wi-Fi will not be able to work because it is connected to a domain authenticated network. So once you are connected to a domain authenticated network, the other connection Wi-Fi will not work unless you disable or unplug the cable and uh, open the Wi-Fi. So this is one of the very good options you can apply to your workstations or your laptops in specific. So we can see also these options are repeated from the advanced users group policy, but they are all used to control the environment of the user. If you need to know the setting, I have said before that you can open. Here is the setting itself. You can open the reports. For example, here is the advanced users group policy. Here we can see that this is the group policy itself. You can go and see how it is applied. Okay, you can go and make it okay one by one, all of the group policies are in the folder. Okay, here you go. If you go to the Google Drive, here is my Google Drive, and this is my labs, and this is the matrix lab. You can see here is the group policy reports. You can get all of the group policies. Okay, so we have discussed all of the group policies. We only need two, or the last one is the default to domain policy, which is very, very important. You need to focus on this default to domain policy. And by the way, it is changed from one server operating system to another. So the default domain policy on Windows Server 2016 is not the same as 2019 or 2022, or the latest one is 2025. So for example, uh, if you let me show you the latest one, which I am working now currently, or the one that we are working on, if we go and see this picture, this is the setting or the default domain policy for this operating system, or the one we currently working on. The password age, the minimum password age, all of these are changed. Okay, in Windows 2019, the maximum password age was 90 days, or it was 60. Now it is 42. The minimum password age is 1 day. It was before, I think, 0. Minimum password character, it is 7. It is not changed. So these settings are changed. So you need to make sure to revise the default domain policy. And by the way, you can use the recommendations from this Department of Defense to see different security setting. It will advise you what to do with this setting. And this is very, very professional setting that is recommended by IT professionals. So let's see, or ask the AI the last time to analyze the, let me close this one and let me go to the default domain policy. Here, this is the default domain policy. And let's see, or let me show you all what this default group policy contains. Let's read it loudly and see what does it contain. Let's read it loudly.
The GPO enforces a strong password policy, including based based on the provided group policy object, GPO, configuration. Here's a professional summary. Security settings. The GPO enforces a strong password policy, including password complexity requirements, password history, and maximum password age. Account lockout policies are set to prevent brute force attacks. Auditing is enabled for critical events, including account logon, account management, and policy changes. User rights assignments are configured to restrict access to sensitive operations and resources. Additional security options are enabled, such as disabling the guest account and renaming the administrator account. BitLocker Drive Encryption. BitLocker is configured to encrypt operating system, fixed data, and removable data drives. Recovery information is stored in Active Directory Domain Services, ADDS, for easier recovery in case of data loss. Specific encryption methods and cipher strengths are defined. Windows Firewall Configuration. Inbound rules are configured to allow specific services and applications, such as remote desktop, file and printer sharing, and Windows Management Instrumentation, WMI. Security settings, like authentication requirements, are defined for the allowed inbound rules. Application and user settings. Microsoft Office settings are configured, including disabling animations, setting personal template paths, and limiting recent document lists. Internet Explorer and Microsoft Edge settings are defined, including home pages, security levels, and blocked URLs. Google Chrome settings are configured, such as enabling the bookmark bar, setting the home page, and defining startup URLs. Regional options, keyboard layouts, and user interface settings are specified. Power management. The power plan is set to balanced, with specific settings for display, sleep, and hibernation times for both AC and battery power. Windows Update. Windows Update is configured to use an intranet Microsoft Update service location and allows signed updates from that location. Additional settings. Registry preferences are set to configure various system settings, such as visual effects and time zone. Scheduled tasks are defined, including a task to set the user's account picture during logon. Control panel settings are configured, including personalization options, desktop wallpaper, and screensaver settings. Overall, this GPO aims to enforce security policies, configure system settings, and manage application and user preferences across the organization's domain-joined devices. It covers a wide range of settings to establish a secure and standardized computing environment. Copy.
Kroner.
What is the minimum password length in this default domain policy? According to the password policy settings in the provided GPO, the minimum password length is set to 7 characters. Copy code. Windows settings / security settings / account policies / password policy. Minimum password length setting, 7 characters. Copy. Claude does not have the ability to run the code it generates yet.
Kroner.
What is the account lockout duration in this default domain policy? Based on the account policies / account lockout policy section, the account lockout duration is set to 0 minutes. Copy code. Windows settings / security settings / account policies / account lockout policy. Account lockout duration setting, 0 minutes. Setting the account lockout duration to 0 means that the account will remain locked out until an administrator manually unlocks it. Copy.
So we can see this is a very, very illustrated and good group policy that is applied to all of the domain. We see the password policy or the security setting, the BitLocker, so it will apply BitLocker, Windows firewall rules. So from this content, you see these are generic group policies that should be applied to all, and they are all good group policies that control the environment for the user. So if you need to know more details, we know where to get it from the group policy or GPO reports. You can run and see all of these settings. So for example, we can open this. It is the default domain policy. If we open it here, okay, and this is the GPO reports, and this is the default domain policy. You can get all of the setting from here, okay? So we can see that, for example, this is an old GPO. We can see that this is 90 days. Remember that I told you that the new one is 42. Okay, so there is a difference between this one and the other one. So I prefer not to import it directly. You need to implement it one by one or to manually configure this group policy. So we have seen the AI explaining the different group policies. We have seen all of the group policies. Let's go now and import them, and the upcoming video we will link them to the different organizational units. So let's go and open our video and try to begin. First of all, this is my domain controller. I will take a snapshot before importing the group policies. So I will take a snapshot. So now we can see it is saving the state, or it is taking a snapshot. So this will take some time. We can pause the video and turn back. We can go like that. Okay, now it is 98%, 99%. Now we can open the console and begin importing each group policy one by one. So we can open the management console. Okay, we can go further. So now we can go further like that again. Here you go. These are the group policies we have created earlier. Now we can right click and tell him to import the setting. We should get the folder backup or the backup folder to import the setting from, which is in my D partition. We go there and this is the GPO backups. This is included in the Google Drive link. Next, then we choose the group policy, each one according to its name. So we can go there, okay, and choose the group policy and then import it. Tell him next. Okay, this is the first one in order. So next, next, and then finish. Now we can import each one by one. Okay, if we can go further like that, we can go to the classic shell admin, the same. We will right click and import each one by one. Okay, we can go further. The classic shell limited. So it is basically, if you go one by one, so again, sorry guys, okay, so you will import each one. If we go there, you will just, what you need to do, you need to step or put each one of them and right click and import and go to the backup folder and import the specific group policy to the correspondent name. Okay, so this is basically what you should do. Okay, everyone. So like for example, this WSOS policy, next, the next, the next, then the group policy is down here. We can get the WSOS policy. The same will be done for all of the group policies. So after applying all of these group policy, we should restart the domain controller to see the effect. By the way, I have imported the default domain policy, but this is not recommended. You need to do this setting manually, okay, one by one. So we will restart and see the different group policies applied. So now we have all of group policies there. Let's restart and see the first change in my environment. We will see there is a couple of changes after applying all of these group policies. Only one will be applied because it is linked directly to the domain. It's the default domain policy. All of the other policies will not be applied because they are not linked yet to any organizational unit. The only group policy will be applied is the default domain policy, but because it is applied to the top level domain, or it is applied to the whole domain. So let's see, or I will stop at a certain minute. We will restart and see what are the changes. First, okay, let's wait. We will restart. Okay, and then continue. So I will stop at this minute, or I will show you the change, and then the upcoming video will link the different group policies to the different OUs and specify which objects it will be applied in these OUs. Okay, so this video is just describing the group policies, okay, how to get them, how to apply them. The upcoming video, we will, with God will, we will see how we can link them, and then after finishing all of these things, we will create an additional domain controller and a file server and WSOS. So this will be further, we will go further. So let's see here the setting. So the first thing we can notice here is that this one is the patient zero. This is the welcome message. This is applied through the default domain policy. We will change this name from patient zero city to the matrix lab. So, and this is message, we leave it as it is. We need to change the title or the message title to reflect our domain name. So we will stop at this minute 29:29 and we will continue in the upcoming video. Hope this video is informative for you all. I thank you all for viewing. Thank you so much.